Hey, what is up everyone? Killerian here bringing you another video, and this time, well, I had some unusual luck, for those of you who were watching my stream earlier on twitch.tv/Killerian, in level 65 starting to PvP, okay? So, what I wanted to do with this video was essentially show people what your necessary preparations are going to be whenever you are hitting max level. Whenever you're finally hitting 65 on TERA, you know, you've been enjoying the combat, you've been enjoying the content, the beautiful world, all of that up to this point, and now it's about time you start PvPing. So, as many of you are probably familiar, right now, there are a couple things that you can do to PvP. You have your open world PvP, right? So that's flagging up, killing other people in open world, or maybe even killing the guy who tries to gank you, right? Next up is you're going to be seeing Corsair Stronghold. This battleground you've probably done. You know, level 35 and whatnot, you got into Corsair Stronghold. It's a siege-based attacker, defender, blowing up the doors, you know, climbing up ladders, using airships to try and infiltrate and kill the enemy anchor stone. You've probably tried this while leveling up, if you are at all a PvP inclined player. So, a couple things to note about the PvP, right? Your Corsair Stronghold and your Champion Skyring Solo. This is only available at 65. You probably saw it once you hit 65 going, oh, what's that, right? So this is your 3v3, solo queue 3v3. Both Corsair Stronghold as well as your Champion Skyring solo queue are equalized. Equalized meaning that you have gear, everyone has the exact same gear, right? So you're not dealing with plus 15 renegade weapons, you're not dealing with, you know, full like jewelry set that gives better power and better crit and all that stuff. So the things that you can influence, however, in that battleground and that you need to do, if you are level 65, this is the main reason why I was making this video. I do not want to see players who are level 65, once you've obtained your Ideal gear, which I'll post a link to how to get that Ideal gear. It is a PvE set, but the main reason why you want it is because it will allow you to use level 65 crystals. These level 65 crystals, or level 65 Virsks, those swap over. They move on to that equalized gear. That's why you were probably getting shit on, partially, if you were that level 35. And you had a guy just go wreck you, or it seemed like you didn't have like any health, or whatever it may be. The reason why is because you had lower level crystals. So, if you are a fresh level 65, the very first thing you should do, literally, the very first thing you need to be doing is making sure you have a set of level 65 gear, which is Ideal, and then getting level 65 crystals. So, with these level 65 crystals, they're going to be giving you a lot of health. 5,430 health in comparison to what you saw leveling, which was probably something like 600, right? That's how I obtained 120,000 health in those equalized battlegrounds. On top of that, you're going to be having better crystals. This poison, like on the Viridian Gift here, or the Salivating, or Swift, or whatever crystal builds that you want to be using, are going to transfer over. So you need to have level 65 crystals. Next up, what I want to explain is a couple of basic things about these crystals. First of all, pounding. You see increases damage to monsters by 8.1%. You've probably got a couple of these while you were leveling and everything like that. But please understand that this does not actually apply to players. You do not want to be using Hunter's Crystals. You do not want to be using Pounding Crystals. You don't want to be using Focused Crystals. This says crit power against enraged monsters by 1.88%. Or 1.88 times. That does not apply to players, guys. Okay? The ones that you want to have, and that do apply to players, and for every single class except for healers, you need a Savage Nivyot. Everyone should have a Savage Nivyot. This is a crit multiplier that can be applied to players. Okay? Next up, a couple of the other ones that you're going to come across. You might want to use, most classes use some form of a Salivating Nivyot. This gives you mana back whenever you're attacking players. The other two, you can roll across things like a Forceful, which increases power whenever you attack from behind. This is great for your Slayers, your Warriors, your Gunners, your Reapers, the classes that are hitting a lot and critting from behind. Next up, Virulent. I probably would only recommend this maybe to Berserkers. That's the only really one that's going to be valid for them. Or Swift. Swift is very, very applicable for any class. Regardless if you're a Warrior, if you're a Slayer, if you're a Berserker, if you're a Healer, if you're a Lancer, no matter what, you probably, you should have the availability of a Swift Nivyot. Okay? Next up in your chess piece, guys. Okay, right here, this is what you want to use. Right here. 3-piece Relentless Nivyot, 1-piece Grieving. This is going to give you maximum health potential while also being able to get mana back. Every single class should be using this, basically. There are some little minor differences, like you might want to have a Warding Nivyot if you're a healer, or, yeah, that's about it. Or possibly a Resolute, which I don't have a Nivyot of, but a Resolute reducing damage whenever you're under 55 or 50%. But realistically, this is your go-to setup. Okay. Most players, the players that I was coming across whenever I was doing the solo queue today, didn't have max level crystals. Okay? They didn't have max level crystals. They were still using their PvE ones, meaning those pounding Nivyots and whatnot that they were using while trying to level. This is just bringing, for one, it's a huge detriment to yourself. You're not going to be dealing the optimal DPS that you can be, that you should be. You're not going to have the survivability that's necessary, because these hardy Cruxes do not reduce damage from players. You need to be using 3-piece Relentless and 1-piece Grieving. Alright. Next up, with your Ida Neal gear, your Ida Neal jewelry that you got from your storyline quest, you will have jewelry slots. You will have Virsk slots. Oh my lord. Okay. Perfect. You will have Virsk slots, okay? If you want to be optimal in PvP, what you want to do is you might want to have these Griefing Zerks. These are even level 58, but they're the only ones that actually increase PvP damage factor. So use Griefing if you're a DPS class. If you're a healer, use Indomitable Zerks. Okay? You can also mix and match a little bit. You could get some Keen Virsks, which increase crit rate. Those are great for Zerkers. They're great for Slayers. Heck, you can honestly even use Power Virsks. But the biggest thing I want to say here, guys, is using these high-level crystals for your equalized content, because that is what's going to give you the step up. That is what's going to set you aside from a level 35 who's fresh into the game, other than obviously your experience. Couple other things I'd like to say. If you are a more veteran player and whatnot, do not, I repeat, do not kick newer players in 3v3. I understand it's frustrating whenever you do see these crystals and whatnot, but the best thing to do is to educate them on what the appropriate crystals are. Link them to my videos, send them to my YouTube, whatever it may be. Do not kick them. Explain to them what you want them to be using, okay? What they should be using, or at least some semblance of a decent set. And then say, before you queue, hit up the auction house, spend a little bit of gold. and get this new updated set, or get these new crystals that you need. All right. Next up, guys, whenever you are fresh hitting 60, you can queue a couple battlegrounds, queuing battlegrounds, but mainly get what I was going to say was queue for the dungeons, the catacombs, as well as the Marsilius catacombs, as well as Sabek's armory. What you're going to find there are your glyphs. Okay, guys, there are certain glyphs which people absolutely must have. For a berserker, if you are a berserker watching this, Swift Thunderstrike. 25% charging on your main skill. That is only obtainable through those boxes or through Vanguard credits, which I've addressed in a previous video as well. Okay, look at your glyphs, look at people's guides on PvPing and whatnot, and find your appropriate glyphs. Because if you are improperly glyphed, if you're glyphed for things like leaping strike damage on a warrior, like, you know, or let's say poison, you know, for an archer, you had your poison arrow glyphed because increasing the duration on that was really nice for PvE. You need to adjust your glyphs for something PvP. There are not hundreds, but there are guides on TERA today. There's my guide on Berserkers. You know, there's a lot of guides out there regarding what glyphs you want to be using for PvP. Before you get into these battlegrounds, before you start putting yourself in a situation where it is competitive PvP, try and be optimal. Try and be set up, you know, to where you're not having to change something, or learn the hard way, you know, 4 or 5 months, or not 4 or 5 months, but like 4 weeks down the road. You know what I mean? Where people have continually kicked you, have continually like shit talked you, or whatever it may be. You don't need to be in that situation. Do a little bit of research, read a little bit of guides, and do your best to be optimally geared or crystalled and glyphed for when you move into actual competitive PvP. Also, for new players, explain you're a newer player. A lot of times if someone says, hey, I'm newer, I'm still learning, like, cut me a little bit of slack, if you tell them that at the start of the match, you know, the 3v3 match that you just solo queued because you got this new cool battleground that you wanted to try, which I highly recommend, please solo queue. I would greatly appreciate it, especially you healers. Help our community out and speed up those times. But tell people, hey, I'm new. Like, you know, explain to me what I need to do. You know what I mean? Listen to other players, but don't... There are going to be assholes. There's always going to be some. If you're a more veteran player, embrace them. Tell them, oh, okay, here's what you could have done better. Good try. Keep queuing, man. Keep working on it. If you're a new player, if a guy's like, fuck you, dude, you're fucking terrible, never queue again. I saw this today. And I told the healer who was talking shit to this new guy, I was like, calm the fuck down, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not a god. You're not anyone, like, crazy amazing. Like, why are you trying to get this guy to stop queuing? Right? If a guy says something like that, don't retort back. Don't give him this acknowledgement of whatever it may be. And like I said, if you tell people at the start of the match, you're going to be reducing your risk of guys basically being, like... fuck you, kick this guy. Same thing with if you happen to have different crystals or bad crystals, or someone says something else, instead of being quiet, which I was trying to help a guy earlier today, but he refused to talk back. Like, I was like, hey man, like, can you talk? Can you, like, you know, I'm trying to get a, you know, make it to where this other guy doesn't want to kick you or anything like that. Like, just talk with me. Communicate with your team. Alright, guys, that was just kind of, I just wanted to rant and make a small video regarding this, because my experience today on my stream on twitch.tv/Killrian, where I had several groups several games of solo Q3 versus 3 where players were improperly crystalled, not max level crystalled, probably the wrong glyphs, didn't even have full crystals, and all these other guys, literally, I clicked no on every single one of these, but a guy just initiates a kick. He immediately, people are going to inspect you, see that you don't have crystals, and immediately think, this guy's a fucking noob, let's kick him. I want to win. Okay? So, if you can, share this video. If you're, let's say you're in a mass recruit, or not a mass recruit guild, but a larger guild with a bunch of newer players since the Steam release, share this to your guildies. If they're in the process of leveling, if you're a newer player yourself, share this to your friends who you might have brought to the game, because I want y'all to be optimally able to play level 60 content, equalized content, as it should be, right as you hit 60. Alright guys, thank you all for watching the video. Leave a like if you found it a little bit informational. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @Killerian, because that updates anytime I start to stream or upload a YouTube video. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all next time.